I don't usually paint on black underpaintings, but I guess I figured why not. My setup is kind of minimal today, as usual, but it feels weird being not at home and being this minimal. Okay. So I guess with this, I'm just gonna approach it kind of the same, I guess, a little bit, maybe. Start with the lights and then work down and then work back up. The big lights are, of course, the sky, but that's kind of harder to get to. First go, I'll try to put in some of these green values. And being that this is so tall in front of me, it's kind of hard to like conceptualize that. Okay. And then it comes down. I might end up adding a figure. I have a feeling I'm going to add a figure to this painting because I just want to show the scale. Of how big it is. There you go. Kind of strange to see everything come out of black instead of a white page. I'm usually used to, as everyone is, painting on white paper. Sometimes an underpainting, like a red or something like that. For the most part, it's just straight up white pages. On canvas, it's a bit different though. I'm trying to focus on these greens. And then we'll see how everything else falls together. Okay, and then in the back, I don't want to go too opaque too soon. There's this tree. Well, this kind of comes up taller. I think I missed that. And then it comes here. And then down in here. I want to make sure not to cover up all the black. I feel like that's going to be a cool effect later. This tree comes back around this side. Over there. Over here. Okay. I think it'd be nice to put in some blue now for the sky. Kind of more cyan or cerulean. Let's see. Yeah, I'm noticing this black does a lot to kind of fill in. Like the black seems to take up more visual space than the white. I don't know how else to explain it. takes up more, like, it looks less blank when there's a bunch of black on the page. I think I want to do this. Keep the outline there, the black. There we go. I think it's lighter as we go towards the bottom too. That'll probably come later. I don't want to blend too much. That should also be a good example for you guys how little people care about you talking or being in public painting. People just walk right by you. They don't care. No one cares about what you're doing. So if you're nervous about that, you can literally, no one cares. I used to be more nervous about that, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. But there you go. You just saw people walk by and didn't say anything, didn't look at me. Minded their business, I minded my business. There you go. There's a lot of blue still in the bottom of this. So like here, I guess we're gonna kind of spot and dot a little bit, as Mr. JG himself would say. We're gonna spot and dot. James Gurney, I mean JG. I'm not, maybe I should call him Mr. James Gurney. We're not on a first name basis. Sometimes it's tricky with like tangled trees. They have a lot of sky values in between them. But I think I just try to put it down and then go back over it later. Okay, the next big value is this, or color in value is this, the ground, which is like a warm brown. Kind of a step duller than burnt sienna. So maybe a tad yellower as well. Maybe I should mix more up here close to you guys. So duller and yellower. That looks decent. Kind of really low. I cut off the sky a bit, but still the ground doesn't come up all the way to here. It's really mostly like down here. Okay, now in this kind of like lower third, there's like a lot of dark values. So I'm gonna mix let's see. Not too dull, but something that doesn't take away from the rest of the painting. And we could go kind of transparent because we have all this black on the page to work with. Let's zoom in a tad. Okay. To simplify it, I might just take up value across there, and then we'll come back and get a little more in depth. Didn't expect the park to be so busy today, but I guess it's fair. It's not a private park. Sometimes it seems like a private park because I'm usually the only one here. Okay, I want to mix in some of the darker values. I'll be careful of my shadow too. It's difficult. It's kind of tough to do this. I'm trying to think of the 3D forms, like, aside from the individual leaves, where their shadows are at, and then maybe we'll go in later and fix those. I'm gonna go lighter. I'm gonna go lighter and brighter with the green. There we go. It's so funny hearing people's conversations. Very funny. There's so many people on Earth. That makes me feel weird. I think we're missing a lot of this brown that's in the picture. It's too late. Yeah, I feel like a lot of this brown comes in. It's much more dull and grayish. Okay. Who knows if I'll even finish this on location. Lately I've been getting close, but there's a lot of people here today. A lot of tangled trees in here. There we go. That tree. I'm kind of coming at it from like a very cartoonish way right now, but I think this is maybe too small to really actually measure and do stuff like that. But who knows? Maybe I could later. I think a lot of this painting will hinge on the darks, so I'm gonna go back in and try to solidify those some more. They go pretty dark actually, darker than I giving credit for. There's so much going on in this little painting. I literally just picked the first place I saw that looked kind of pretty and sat down. Didn't think too much about it. Something's, you know what's missing? This, all the background, like whatever's going on here. I'm gonna add that in real quick. It's very light, so add a lot of white to it. Let's see, kind of mostly here. Let's see. It's kind of more green. It's not as dull as I'm making it. There we go. It's getting really messy, but we need to, I think we'll bring it back. There's a lot of stuff going on. I think I'd like to maybe stop here around 45 minutes. We're only at 18, which is really nice. We've been moving quickly. We do have 20% battery, so maybe we'll, who knows if we'll make it there. The architecture of this tree is kind of like interesting. Everything kind of comes out from the center and like scoops up kind of weirdly. I'm gonna go back in with a darker green. At this point, we've kind of mostly lost the black underpainting for the most part. But I think we can. I don't think it matters too much. At this point, we're kind of doing less literal stuff, anyways. This isn't very realistic. That is interesting. I do feel more like an illustrator, I guess, than a fine artist most times. Let's see. Yeah, the trees are so like split. It's really difficult. There's no big main like form. There is some, but it's all broken up in like layers. It's hard to follow. There you go. Okay. I'm gonna come back with some light and then back with the dark and just keep going back and forth, I guess. I guess I should go until my phone runs out of battery, and then I'll talk to you guys later about how it all came together. I can't wait until someone walks through and I'm almost done and I can like add them to the scene. That'd be fun. I did that one time and it was one of my favorite paintings I've ever done. I mean, my like plein air paintings, of course, not like finished paintings. Starting to make a little more sense. I think the blue needs to come back in. It looks okay, it looks okay. Yeah, the blue desperately needs to come back into this whole equation to make it look right. So we're gonna add that in. You can paint whatever order you want. I'm gonna stray away from the more intricate stuff and just focus on the big blue shapes. Which one is here? Paint's getting kind of dirty. There's a big blue shape like this. And then one here. And then one here. It's a tricky painting. It's a tricky tree to paint. is tricky. Having trouble finding the like big shapes. I've only used one brush so far too, which is surprising. Or maybe not, I used one brush sometimes. Okay. There's like a big difference between the light and the dark here, so I'm gonna go into that a little bit. I'm just kind of moving this one color all around, putting it where it kind of fits a little bit, even closely. Really value work color-wise, to be honest. Just to kind of solidify a shape. I did choose a seat to sit down on, but not necessarily like a comfortable seat, which should be my main priority, but I just sat down the first place I saw. Almost the first place. I think we're working with something now. It'll take a lot of layers to get to it, but I think we're getting somewhere. 30 minutes in, we're almost seeing something kind of similar to the scene. Let's see. I like working bright like this now. I think I used to maybe try to be a little more realistic, but I like working bright and colorful like this. Make everything seem a little happier. Also just like my natural inclination to paint like this. I don't really have to try to make it happy, I just kind of, painting wise. I like happy kind of scenes. Which is weird. I wonder if personality and painting style kind of somehow coincide. Because I wouldn't necessarily say I'm like a, well, maybe I am. I think I've been better. But I don't know if I'm naturally like a super hip Cheerio, kind of guy. But maybe I am sometimes. I think I can be that when I need to. I want to break up some of this. It looks too formal or too like organized now. I feel like that kind of similar to those personality tests. I don't know if I really subscribe to the idea that you're like fixed in any one of those. Because I think when I was like going through my high school experience, I was definitely like, well, the first high school experience, I was probably like an I don't know, an ENT something, I don't know, who knows. But then once I moved, I turned into like an INFP or whatever. And I think it's just situational. I don't think anybody should attach themselves to that too closely. And also, like, I think it's funny how like it says like you're the most rare type, but that's all you see. Is people with INEF or whatever, INTP, ILTP, whatever. But maybe it's just, some kind of online bias for people online who have those personality types. At least the I part, the I or the E part, I think can be changed easily. Not easily, but by moving situations. Okay. We need to put some lights back in these trees because now they're just all dark. Oh, it's too late. I'm just mixing like burnt sienna and a blue. Ultramarine blue. I'm getting like this kind of dull purple gray. think I might have undershot the composition a little bit and made it too upwards looking, if you know what I mean. Might have benefited from a little downwards turn. Now I don't know how to put a figure in here. But maybe there wasn't meant to have a figure in here. Or who knows? I guess we'll see in a second. What are we at? 37 minutes. I think if we push this another 30 minutes, we'll be completely done. I don't know how far I want to take it right now, though. Let's see. I'm going to fan this brush out, too. What's missing? There's definitely something missing. I can't tell what though. Maybe it needs more lines, more straight lines. Okay. Let's add in some of these more trees. I have a feeling my phone's gonna run out of battery soon, so I might not be able to catch all this, but we'll talk about it afterwards. Let's see. There's this. And then this. There is also a tree that cuts in front, but I don't know how much that's really going to add to the painting if I really crowd this whole side of the page. I think I'm going to take a seat for a second, just, well, I am sitting, but take a metaphorical seat, and then come back and look at the painting again and see what it needs. Oh, here we go. Going in with the blue, which is always my favorite. Really fun part. Maybe that's what we need. Maybe we need a clearer blue in the sky, like a less jagged edges. Let's see. pretty blue. Let's see. Oh, it's kind of dirty. I didn't bring a rag either. That's a shame. Just scrape some of this blue off the palette. Now we'll mix a cleaner blue. I want to go more ultramarine. This is a kind of a big jump, but this got to be more ultramarine. Even though in real life it's pretty cerulean tinted. I just like this color better. I think it makes more sense for the painting as well. It will kind of define a shape as well for the composition. Don't want to go too dark with the blue though, but keep it clean and careful. That looks a little better, I think. I pretty much have the park to myself now, which is cool. But yeah, people walk by, people look at you sometimes, people sometimes will come up to you and talk, but otherwise, usually it's pretty relaxing. I mean, coming up to a painter is not a bad thing. I'm really apt to talk to people about painting, especially fellow painters. I love explaining to people what gouache is too, because a lot of people, mostly older folks, they're not too much into it. They're into like oil or watercolor. I'm mixing up another light green value to fix this little patch and also to move the painting along a bit by bit. Okay, I'm gonna let this painting simmer for a little bit and let it sit, and then I'm gonna take a look at my favorite painting, which is in this sketchbook, and we're gonna see what maybe I could include from that one that would add to this painting. Okay. Mix this a little bit and then it'll go. Okay, let's look. So my favorite painting in the sketchbook is, let's see if know where it's at. Not this one, not this one, not this one. This one's good. I like this one, but this isn't my favorite. I like this one also because of where it's at. It's kind of as a sentimental. Not this one. Not this one. Not that one. I think it might be in the back actually, behind us. Behind this painting. Nope. Okay, it's back here. Makes it a little more difficult. Which painting is it? Oh, I think it's after this one. Where'd it go? I'm pretty sure it's in the sketchbook. Pretty sure. It may not be though. Maybe I was mistaken. I was pretty sure it was in this one, but maybe it's not. Unless it's out of order. Sometimes I paint out of order. It's got to be in this painting. Get in the sketchbook. I don't know where it's at. Am I losing my mind? Where it is? I guess it's not. I guess it's not. I'm very confused though. It's not here. Not here. I'll put it up on screen, I guess. Not there. Not there. Nope. Nope. Okay, I guess it must not be in the sketchbook. Could have sworn it was, but... I thought I did it directly before this painting. I have no clue what's going on with this painting, where it went, why it's gone from us. This was last week's painting, or well, last week for you guys. It's kind of sad. I don't know where that painting is at. I think it's the size though, so it's probably in a sketchbook that looks exactly like this. Okay. So I guess we don't know what to add. I guess we'll just find out. Also, I feel really bad for this artist named Chi, who was like the person that got me into urban sketching. Because he recently lost his sketchbook. He lost like all of his sketchbooks, which is very sad. We didn't lose them, but they were gotten rid of. And so now they're all gone. But it definitely makes you think of like, this is all temporary. Like literally everything. So it's kind of weird, like, there's a movie called Patterson where this poet is like working on a poem for the whole movie. Spoiler alert. And at the end of the movie, his dog comes up and rips up the book that has this poem in it that he's been working on for the whole movie. And it's like weeks. And it's just like, you know, strange to think of all of that work disappearing. And there's like such a resistance to that, like such a resistance to restarting something like that. That'd be so painful. At least in the case of Kyoichi, those paintings were completed and oftentimes like scanned in. But in the case of Patterson, which I might watch tonight, I think I need that in my life right now. I think I need to watch Patterson. I think it's called Patterson. In that case, like, his work was really on paper only. It wasn't scanned anywhere. I apologize for the abrupt ending. But I think the painting turned out well. And as you see, I did end up adding a figure, which I think turned out pretty cool. So yeah, if you enjoyed that video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And if you want to see a video that I think you would like, you click the top one. And if you want to see a video that YouTube thinks you would like, you can click the bottom one. And as always, I'll see you guys later. Bye.